Hey, sis.
Hey sis, it's gonna be hard to keep from crying today. Um,
I mean, I already came prepared.
oh, okay, I didn't get my tissue. Will you
Oh,
tell everybody why we're here?
yeah. I mean, we actually recorded an episode earlier this week that we are going to do as a little bonus recapping Christmas. And unless you've been living under a rock, you know that our beloved Los Angeles is going up in flames. And Courtney lives in the Pacific Palisades where the most damage has been had, I think it's up to 3,000 acres now
Yeah,
of
over a
destroyed.
thousand structures, homes. Hmm.
Yeah. And miraculously,
I have the only
you're,
house standing on the block, basically.
yeah.
A few. There's like three houses. Me and my two neighbors, I think, are pretty much the only one on my block. The whole
So
rest of the
crazy.
block is down. The whole neighborhood has been leveled. Um, I don't know. I just thought it was
Ashes.
important that we thought it was important that we get on and just kind of give you an update of what's going on because this is really real and it's not funny and it's not. I wish we didn't
Fun.
have to do this, but as we've been talking about, like I'm getting so many text messages that I can't even respond, and they're overflowing to you, and you're getting so many, and mom's getting so many, and we thought, well, maybe it would just be easier if we get on and just sort of talk about what's happening here on the front lines of all of this, and um,
You want to
yeah,
walk us through like
what happened?
your day on Tuesday?
Yeah, I will. I mean, literally the most bizarre day of my life. Um, I I mentioned on my our previous podcast, the season finale of season three, that Jason and I were going through a divorce, and on the 7th was our final mediation to settle everything and move forward towards finalizing. And I get there in the morning. It's winds like I have never seen in my life. Like winds were so strong that when I was walking into the office building, it pushed my body to the point where I almost fell down because the winds were
Oh my
so
gosh.
strong.
Were you
When
in
I was
Century
getting,
City?
yeah, and it was so
Okay.
weird because like the traffic was crazy. Biden was in town. Like there was
Oh,
just so
wow.
much chaos already, and nobody. And then the my car door, like shut from the wind. Like when I got out, I mean, it was
Mm-hmm.
just nuts. And um, I get upstairs and we start our mediation, and all of our phones are going off, and my attorney lives close to me and actually has two daughters the same age, and our kids are like texting us from school and like, oh my god, what's going on, because they heard about 10:30 a fire broke out, and we're like, it's
Right.
fine. And I live in a I did live in a very pretty fire safe area of the Palisades because it's in the flats, like meaning it's a sidewalk street. It's not north of Sunset in the hills where there's a lot more propensity for fires, and that's where it usually happens. And so I
Right.
just thought we were just like, oh, it's
Vegetation and
fine. Yeah,
trees.
yeah. If and like we've had to evacuate before, but it's just like you just get out of the area because of the smoke and stuff. Nothing ever happens
Sure.
that far down. So we I just kind of was like, it's going to be fine. We'll be back. It's no big deal. If we have to evacuate, we'll evacuate, but we'll be fine. So 2 hours later, like 12:30, I get a notice that we have to evacuate. So um, I had my friend who has a key to my house grab the dog, and I still at this point thinking like, there's no way this fire, because it was like far away from me in the Palisades,
Right.
like in the hills, are going to get to me. So I just said, can
Yeah.
you just pack me and the girls like a few items, some sweats and some pajamas and our medications and the dog's medication,
Mm-hmm.
and take the dog to my friend Ashley's house. Um, and I'll grab her later today. She's like, sure. So that happens. By 3 p.m., I'm getting text messages that, no, before that, yeah, the kids, I field the kids off to friend. Like I had one of Reagan's mom's friends texted me and said, do you want me to grab Reagan after school? She can come here with my daughter. And
Yeah.
hang out for as long as, and I'm like, yeah, sure. Because like in my mind, I'm like trying to like settle my entire life, my future, and I'm in
Yeah.
tears all day because it's so emotional, the whole process of
Of
this
course.
divorce. And we, so I'm already in tears and trying
At this
to,
point, had you gotten the video from Lori of the fires?
no, at this point, and then I text my other friend Lisa and just said her daughter Jet. I was like, who's been on the podcast? I said, can you grab Vivi? Of course, she says, of course, and she's in Santa Monica. So at this point, like Santa Monica is like the farthest away from the fire, no
Yeah.
big deal. So I finish. So then then all of a sudden things just start escalating and schools start getting evacuated,
Right.
and I start getting videos, and it looks like the end of my street is on fire, and it happens to be that it was Palisades High School is one
Yeah.
block from my house, and it's in flames. And this just was crazy. So we push through, we finish, we get us come to a settlement, all the while just like texting with my kids and being like, hey, you just go to your friend's house, we'll pick you up on the way home after mommy and daddy are done.
Mm-hmm.
Not thinking anything. And by the end of the
Was
time,
at any point were you guys like, do we stop this mediation? Like,
yes. I mean, my team was, because my head attorney has two daughters the same age and lives in the neighborhood. And we were both like, you know what? But everybody's fine right now. Like, I guess we just didn't understand the magnitude at this point, because we didn't have a
well, you're
lot of,
kind of in this
we
bubble
were in this bubble, and it
too,
was
and you're not
like,
watching the
and
news and
yeah, and I'm still thinking we're going to be fine. And then when as I'm as when once we wrap it up, we realize this is really scary. So and what was crazy is that we're hearing like all the traffic and you can't get into certain areas. And
right.
so we made the decision, like, Vivi's going to stay with Lisa and my friend Lisa. Reagan's going to stay at her friend Maya's house in Brentwood because that was far away and safe. Jason we were in Century City, and his parents have a house in Beverly Hills where I'm reporting from now.
Mm-hmm.
He was just going to go there, and I was going to go to my friend's house in Santa Monica, Ashley, who had the dog. So all four of us were
Right.
separated, which was like
Yeah.
kind of weird. And then as it started to escalate in the evening and we're watching the flames engulf my neighborhood, we were really scary. So then I hear Lisa had to evacuate her home in Santa Monica because the winds were so high. They were afraid it was going to hit her area in Santa Monica because she butts up to the Palisades. So she took Vivi and her daughters, and they went to downtown Los Angeles. So now Vivi's downtown.
Oh
Jason
my
has the
gosh.
wherewithal to drive into Brentwood and get Reagan and bring her back to Beverly Hills. And I'm still in Santa Monica with the dog.
Oh.
So I'm with my friends Ashley and Dave. Like, we can't sleep. We're like,
Yeah.
can't figure out what to do. We don't know what to do. You feel
And I will
helpless.
say, like, at this time, watching it, the news is reporting 86-mile-per-hour wind.
Yeah. Yeah. And you hear it. Like,
it's
we were in her condo, and it was so scary, and the windows are rattling, and you see the trees. They
yeah.
have a lot of windows. And I was like, are we safe? Like, they have a multi-level condo. We went
Yeah.
downstairs, like to their, like, almost, it's like a basement level. It's not, but their bedrooms are down there.
Yeah.
But out
I've
of the
been
way,
there.
because we were afraid that the trees were going to come through the windows, because so we were
Right.
like
Yeah.
downstairs, like sheltering in place. Then
Yeah.
I'm talking to
And
Jason on the phone, and he's like, hello. He thought someone had come in his house, but it was his parents' house, but it was just like the winds. I go, that's the
oh
wind. He's
my
like, oh my God, you're right. Like, it was so crazy. Like, houses were rattling.
yeah.
And I'm
At one
on,
point, I heard the news that around that time later in the evening that the the fire was moving so quickly because of the wind, and that it was covering the lengths of like 3 to 5 football fields in a minute.
mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah, it
think
did. It
about
was.
that.
Right. So then, um, I start getting like videos from my neighbors, and it's like the houses across the street, directly across the street from me, are on fire. One of
Yeah.
my best friends, Jessica, is sending me nonstop photos from her inside her house, her cameras, and you're seeing her backyard on fire.
Oh my
I'm on a
God.
group chat with like 30 moms called the El Medio Bluff Moms, which is where I live, the El Medio Bluffs. Everybody's freaking out. And at this point, we're evacuated and you can't see if your homes are burning. Like
Right.
some, like our fire, people's fire detectors were going off. So some people knew through like apps and stuff, but most
Oh
people
God.
still people don't know. I was texting with a woman in my neighborhood this morning. People still don't know because we can't get in there.
Right.
So yesterday morning, so I so yesterday morning I got up from my friend Ashley's and took the dog, and I went over to Beverly Hills to meet Jason and Reagan at like 6 o'clock in the morning.
Mm.
And I mean, I walk into that house, and this has been the really hardest like 6 months of my life going through this, and we just collapsed into each other's arms and cried because you know no matter what, we're a family, and you put all of that
Mm-hmm.
resentment and all the pain to come together for your kids. And at this point, we didn't know the status of our house. And we just sat down and just committed to each other that we were going to put our kids first and leave everything aside. And we held hands and decided we were just going to be our best versions of ourselves. And we have done nothing but that the past 24 hours. And our house is still standing, which is crazy. Like, what does that mean karmically? Like, all these people have lost. Every one of my friends pretty much has lost their home. We go to a school that's close by. That's in Santa Monica, and there's like, I don't know, 20 something Palisade families, and me and like one other family that I know are like at this point the only families that have not lost their homes at the school. I mean, over like 20 families have lost their homes at our school. Every one of my friends, my best friend Mary, who was on the podcast, lost her home. One of my best friends, Jean,
Shiba
everybody,
lost her home.
Jessica Shiba, who was on the podcast, lost her home. Jessica, I mean, I can't even. It's like we were tallying up on our hands yesterday. It's unreal, and it's like, think about this. Like, if one of your friends' houses burned down in your neighborhood, you'd be like, oh my God, and everybody would be rushing to help. Every one of my friends' houses have burned down. Why is mine still standing? I have like survivor's guilt about it, and feeling. And here's the weirdest thing, Whitney. Like, I got away with one sweatshirt. One sweatshirt. Look what my sweatshirt says.
Oh my God.
Grateful. It says grateful on it. I mean, and I'm incredibly grateful for that my house is standing, but that I have lost none of my friends. I'm here with my
Mm-hmm.
family and my dog, and everyone got away. Um, it's unfathomable what's happened, and
I mean,
now
here,
even yeah. Go ahead.
I was just going to say that, you know, obviously I'm in Dallas. And mom and I've been, just going back and forth. And of course, Lance is in fucking Vegas. Anytime
Yeah,
anything crazy happens, he's gone. And we are just checking, and they do have like fire maps. And this is the fire map of your house, of
yeah.
like where the fires were. And the red dot is your
Yeah,
house.
yeah. I know.
Like,
I
it's
know.
insane.
I know. I know. Um, there's really definitely something karmic about it. I'm a woo woo person, so I know that there's a reason my house is still standing. Um, although I've heard this morning, like, it's going to be uninhabitable for a very long time. The houses that did survive, like, we can't go back, and we don't know. I mean, it could be, it could be, it, what's the word I'm looking for? Uninhabitable, like for a very long time. And um, there's going to be a huge housing crisis shortage in LA. And I
Mm-hmm.
mean, that's another thing. It's like, I was going to have to start looking for an apartment to move to immediately. And now that's not happening. Like, we are going to be at Jason's parents' house in Beverly Hills for the unforeseeable future. I can't take an apartment or a condo or an Airbnb when all of these people who've lost their homes don't have a place to go. So, I mean, that's another thing. It's like, I feel like somehow through this tragedy, it brings Jason and I together in a way that we will find so much love and compassion for one another, to be better co-parents in the future, to be friends, to be partners, and it's it has changed the way I see the world, period. I also have this bizarre sense of peace too, that everything will be okay somehow, as hard as it's going to be, but that it will make people more compassionate and more loving, and more of our community is going to come together like nobody's ever seen, um, and support one another. That's all we can do. That's the only choice we have.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, even though, I mean, there's like 7 fires that have broken out across Los Angeles, it's like everyone is experiencing this. The whole
Everyone
city, the whole country in a way. Like, I'm far
watching us
removed, but
burn.
all of my friends are there. So many of my friends and your friends are going through this. And
Leveled. We have no grocery
yeah,
stores left in the Palisades. We have
no
no
gas station,
gas
nothing.
stations, no
I don't know
restaurants,
how you
nothing.
rebuild a city an area like that when you have nothing. Like,
I want to give thanks to Rick Caruso, who is like the unofficial mayor of the Palisades,
yeah,
and is invested and built the village there, and is so invested in the well-being of the Palisades. And I don't know, I really feel like he's going to be instrumental in getting this city rebuilt, and we will. I mean, people love the Palisades. It's the most special neighborhood in LA, and it's
yeah,
unique. And it's going to take a while, and it's hard. I don't. No one can even wrap their head around next steps,
mm-mm.
right? Like, when are the kids going to go back to school? My kids' schools didn't burn, but 7 schools burned. Like, there's going to be,
Where
who
are they going to
knows?
go? Like,
I don't know. I hope our school can take
Lance and
some of
I,
them in.
Lance and I were talking about it because we had that big tornado come through Dallas like 5 years
Mm-hmm.
ago,
Mm-hmm.
and it took out
Yes.
this whole section of
Mm-hmm.
like a shopping center,
Yeah, I remember.
and it it took 2.5 years to rebuild
Oh
that
God, yeah.
small
Yes.
section. And as
Mm-hmm.
Lance pointed out, it just ripped down Royal Lane and took out all of these houses. And he's like, some of those houses are still in construction.
Yeah. There's
Like,
not going to be enough
it's
builders to build these houses back. I mean,
no.
thousands of houses, thousands.
Yeah.
And all of those restaurants that I mean, it's all just things too. It makes you
Yeah.
have to stay in the present moment, because when you start to think about the devastation, it's too overwhelming. I mean, literally,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it's this is so much worse than any earthquake. Like, an earthquake, you could like get through the rubble or whatever, but this is like there's
Sure.
nothing left for people. Um,
Burned.
Burned. And I just talked to Jason, and one of our friends, one of his good friends, did not leave his house. He did not evacuate, and he
Oh
is
my
up
God.
on El Medio but north, and
Okay.
he was one of those people that, he has like a very, expensive home, but it's not insured for the full value of his home. So he was like, I'm not leaving. I need to stay here and protect my home, with his hose that's barely any water's coming out, because I don't know. I mean, I'm sure everybody's heard on the news, but those of you who are not in LA, like, there is no water in the hydrants in the Palisades. Our governor
Yeah.
did not give it to us. He chose to use it differently. And now there's literally not a drop of water, and they have not been able to put the fires out. And that's why they've spread, and they haven't been able to be contained. And the firefighters are beside themselves in the Palisades because they haven't been able to do anything. But this guy,
Right.
so I have 2 stories of my friends. So this guy has been up there on his house on an e-bike, like riding around, help with taking people's hoses and putting out like little fires in the neighborhood that he can. Um, and um, and people are like e-bike delivering him like phone chargers and food and stuff like that. And my other friend's husband So she had the wherewithal to last year, because some people are just more prepared for these kinds of tragedies than
Disasters.
others, disasters. And she bought one of these like mega hoses that you can put in your pool that'll drain your
Yeah.
pool, and you can use as like a makeshift fire hose.
Yeah.
And so they left, like she and her daughter left, and her neighbor, I think her husband was out of town, so her neighbor went back with his son. They didn't leave the area, and took this hose, and they drained 4 pools and saved these houses on their street.
Oh my
So now
God.
all these, but some people have done that, and these pools are drained. And like, people were like in their pools, avoiding, trying to escape the flames that couldn't get out. I mean,
Oh my
it's,
God.
and I did just see on the news that they did find human remains in the Palisades. We thought there was no deaths, but there are now.
Oh God.
And, um, I'm on this group chat with these moms, and I just want to say this: if any of my friends are listening that live in the Palisades or Santa Monica, anywhere, they live anywhere in the area, and they want to come to this home in Beverly Hills where I'm staying, just text me. I've sent many of you messages saying, please come here. I want you to drop your kids off. If you and your husband just need to take a minute to talk and figure out next steps, or you just want a hug, or you want a meal or a cocktail, or anything, come. And I hit a Dirty Sis Martini. I
A
will take
bevy of
you, and
dirty sisses.
yeah, yeah, I'll make a picture,
at,
but please come
at
to
10
me. We
o'clock.
can,
No judgment.
no judgment, no judgment. There's a reason Bloody Marys and mimosas were invented. There's an any time of the day cocktail, or not, or just hugs and community. And
Yeah.
um, my home, my in-laws' home, I haven't gotten permission from them, but I think it'll be okay with them. I hope so. Very grateful for them that they have opened their home to us. They're in the desert, so they're not even here. And I think we're going to be here for a while. I don't, but I want everyone to know they're welcome to come be with us. And it is unlike
That's amazing.
anything I could ever even
And,
imagine.
um, you know, I know you've been going through this divorce, and the thought of like moving out of your home, which
Mm-hmm.
you've made the home,
Yeah. Yeah.
Court, you're the heart of
Mm-hmm.
that, and you're the center of that. And for you to be displaced and be in someone else's home and open it up to others. And, I just give you, I'm so in awe of you and your bravery, and like keeping it together and holding it together for the kids, and being such a wonderful friend to
Thank
all of
you.
your friends. And
Well,
it's so important,
it's
and
reciprocated. Yeah.
and in times like this, it needs that cheerleader. And as I told you, I'm like, I don't know why, this whole universe, it's like I just keep thinking about a
Mm-hmm.
phoenix, of like rising from the ashes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's just like you right now.
Thank
And
you. All of these
and
women, I mean, we have to be. There's no choice.
yeah. Yeah.
But thank you for saying that.
Um
I mean, I feel humbled. I don't know why my house is still standing. I feel incredible. All my friends are in hotels and displaced in homes with, multiple people living together. And I have
yeah.
this home that, that's why I want people to come, and let's hug, and let's cry together, and let's talk about this. And another thing is like, these children, the past 5 years,
Yeah.
my kids are beside themselves. They haven't even lost their home, and they are so scared. They're like, we've been through a pandemic, you're getting divorced, and this fires, like, we can't take it. Like, it is absolutely devastating for these children. Not just
It's
mine,
a lot.
obviously, It is
Mm-hmm.
all of these children. And, Vivi, my 11-year-old, she's like on a constant, we're both my kids, we're all like on this constant, I cannot put my phone down because of the text communications of everybody reaching out to one
Yeah.
another, but, and giving each other updates and sending videos. And, but anyway, so Vivi said to me this morning, you were on the phone with me, Whitney. We were
Yeah.
FaceTiming, and she said, so and so's dad told him that this is going to cause wars and the apocalypse. And it upset me so much because, everybody is grieving in their own way and trying to process this in their own way. So, absolutely no judgment, because I can totally see how you would think that.
Yeah.
But how I'm going to choose to look at this and to teach my kids to look at it as a moment to grow and to dig deep down inside, to be more loving and more compassionate and to be of service to others,
Mm-hmm.
because you can be a you can you can go down the path of this is the most devastating thing and we're never going to recover and the Palisades will never be the same and this whole way of thinking about it. But I'm going to choose to walk forward from this as that this will help us all find more love and compassion in our hearts for one another, and people, we will be called upon to serve each other, to lift each other up, and
Mm-hmm.
be more united, um, and and
Yeah.
and have more grace for one another. Um, it's not going to be easy, but
Mm-mm.
I think it's important that we give that message to our children when they're scared that you're going to be okay and you're going to learn from this. And like our friend
Yeah.
Brittany said yesterday, and Rick, this is a definitive moment for our children. And when they grow up, this is going to be part of their defining story. And how we
Yeah.
choose to parent in this situation is really going to make a difference.
Yeah.
And
And I just keep thinking too, like, yes, they've been through the pandemic. They're now all experiencing this and the resilience
the
that they're
resilience,
going to have.
exactly.
Kids are already very resilient, but they've all taken a pretty big beat down over all
Mm-hmm.
these things. But if I look back on my childhood, our childhood, and think like, well, we had it pretty damn good.
Yeah,
It was easy.
yeah,
And
yes.
and as hard as this is, they're learning lessons earlier in life than we ever did. And that
Harder
can
lessons.
really hard. Oh yeah. And that can help form them to be resilient, to stand up, to support each other. They're learning these lessons that,
Mm-hmm.
some people don't learn until their
Ever,
midlives,
ever.
or ever. So,
Exactly.
and they're
And
still in good spirits. I mean, like talking to Vivi today, I know she's so sad, but still like we
yeah,
can laugh at little things, and those we've got to cherish those moments to laugh and, you know,
and she
have a
said,
joke and a
and
giggle.
didn't she say, did you hear her say that when I was telling her that after what that dad said about the war and the apocalypse, I said, you can choose to, you know, to move forward with compassion and kindness for one another. She goes, yeah, my group chat with my whole class, we're all best friends now through this.
I
So they've
know.
all come together to support one another, these little 11 and 12-year-olds. And there's some real beauty in that. There's some real beauty in that. Um,
There is. There is.
they're learning to open their little hearts to one another right now to get through this. And this is what this experience is going to be about, is opening your heart up. Especially, I see it with just me and Jason to get us through
Mhm.
this. I mean, we just sat in bed last night, sitting. We're not, I went in his room and we just sat down there and looked at each other and we're like, oh my God, like, this is so major. And had a really deep
Mhm.
discussion about it. And we haven't really talked to each other in like 6 months, like really talked to each
Yeah.
other.
Yeah.
And we only have, each other in this house right now. He's the only other grown up here. I have my friends and we're
Yeah.
talking and you and all of that, but like it was I think that's what it's about right now, is really learning a lot of lessons about love and compassion.
Yeah,
Um
absolutely.
and I don't know. I mean, so many stories to tell, so many different I was thinking this morning as I was chanting, as I was saying my prayers for everyone. I chant Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, which is a really centering meditation and chant for me that helps me a lot. And I thought what came, what arose in my mind was, "Hey sis, eat this," and maybe the next few months of my life are feeding people. I don't know what that, like, "Hey sis, eat this. I'm the sis you can come to, and I will make you a meal at this home and your family." And
Oh, love
and that
that.
may and we can talk about it. I don't know if anyone wants to come on this podcast and share their story. Like, this is
Yeah.
an open forum. I don't know what, it doesn't matter what the format's been. It doesn't matter what it will be, but I just want to say that too, like, reiterate how much I want to help those around me in my community. And if it's feeding them, because I'm a pretty good cook, I'd
You're a
love to
great
make a
cook.
meal for you. Um, or whatever. I don't know. Or if you want to just come on and share your story, just reach out to me.
Just make something that you've made before. Don't
For
try
sure,
anything
honey.
new.
I don't have my recipe books. I know my big binder of
Well,
recipes is at home.
you know, I live the digital cookbook life, so I got you, girl.
Well, thank God all our favorite recipes are already on the Hey Sis Eat This website, so I can
That's right.
actually access those. So,
I use it all the time. Not that it compares to your story, but as we've been saying, people are reaching out to me and asking about you, and we've all just been like so worried. And I've kind of like tried to give you your space, because like I'll get an update from mom, and I'm like, okay, I know she's safe, I know she's good. And but our good friend Dom, who actually was
yeah,
raised in the Palisades, uh, sent me a voice note last night, and said that he had ridden his bike or something. I don't know, but knew about your house, and that he went over and he checked on it, and that it's still there. And um, I just lost it. I like, I don't know. I just couldn't stop crying. The reality of it,
yeah,
from like, I guess, having a firsthand experience from a friend that was kind enough to go and check on your home
yeah,
and was not supposed to be in that area.
yeah, yeah.
And it's really like hard when you're far away.
Hmm.
Like we were talking
Yeah,
about, it's like you're watching everything on the news and you see all the different areas that we've lived in, and all of it, and it's like it seems foreign. But then that, I don't know, that just triggered me of like, oh
hmm.
my God. Like,
Well, on that note, yesterday when we found out our house was still standing at 12 p.m., we decided we would drive over there. Jason and I were going to drive over there to see if we could get, like, MacGyver our way into the house,
MacGruber.
because MacGruber our way to the house, because there's so many road blockages. So we were like zigging and zagging, and we made it all the way to um, like San Vicente and Ocean Avenue, like, but there we couldn't get any further, and so there was no way into the Palisades, and we were hoping we could get medication and a couple of
Yeah.
items, and contact lenses, things of that
Oh yeah.
nature. But we asked a police officer at the one of the checkpoints, like, can we get in? We just need to we're residents. We had our IDs, like, we need medication. And he was like, we're not letting anyone in unless you think there are human remains in your house. That's the only way you can get in.
Ooh.
No animals, nothing. So they're not letting anyone in. But people have been like e-biking in recently, because to get things. But there's not that much you can get. You can get a backpack of stuff, but it's like, doesn't matter, you
Right. You're
know?
not going to be like rolling down
Mm-hmm.
the street with your suitcase and on your
Right.
e-bike.
Yeah. But it's a minute by minute, hour by hour sort of situation. We're just trying to remain as present as we can and
Yeah.
take it day by day.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Well, I want to thank all of our friends and family who have been
yeah.
reaching out.
Oh my
And
God, thank you. Yes. I mean, people are
uh,
coming out of the woodworks. People I have
oh,
not
yeah.
talked to in a million years. Numbers I don't even know saying, Courtney, we're thinking
Yeah.
about you. I mean, it is unbelievable the amount of prayers and support that have come our direction, and it's so greatly appreciated. So greatly
And it
appreciated.
goes back to community. It goes
Yeah.
back to coming together, you
Yep.
know?
Yep. And yeah. And
And
again,
being
anyone
a
that
being a stepmom of a paramedic and an EMT, I just want to say thank you to all of the firefighters,
the frontline workers,
frontline. You know, I can't imagine what that is
mm-mm.
like. And thank you for that service.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, to all of the frontline workers and firefighters. Thank you so much. And um, to all
I
of
can't
those,
imagine what that battle feels like when you just, it's like you see
you're
these
helpless.
planes go
Yeah.
over and it's like spit on
Yep.
these fires.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
it's
Right.
crazy.
There's just not enough water. I mean, it's
Yeah.
going to be a huge lawsuit for LA County. I mean, this is so monumental. It's just, it's crazy. And this is going to be huge. People are going to be outraged. It's already they are. I mean, this is just the beginning of a very long journey of recovery and healing. But I'll just,
Yeah.
we can wrap it up, but I'll end by saying once again, please reach out to me. And if I can help in any way, I feel that I'm truly blessed. My home is still standing. I have my children here with me and my dog and Jason, and we are here to serve others. So please
Yeah.
reach out.
We'll also put some links on our social about how you can help from afar.
Hmm.
Because I know so many people like myself are not on the ground over there. So, making donations, like people, listen, Courtney and her family walked out of the house with the clothes on their back, as
Hmm.
so many other people did. And that's all they had. That's all they
Hmm.
have.
That's why I
So,
don't have my face on today because I have no makeup, but that's okay. I'm not going to have any for a while. It's all right.
well, that's okay. You'd probably cry it all off anyway.
Yeah. I
But
think I am going to
uh,
Amazon myself some fuzzy socks. I don't have any socks. I have no socks with me. Thank goodness for those.
okay.
Do you know what? I got this. My friend packed those slippers that you gave me for Christmas, the Ugg slippers. I wore those. I've
Oh,
been wearing
yay. I
them
was
to the
wondering if you
grocery
got those.
store, to the Grove. Yeah, I've been wearing slippers out in public because that's all I have. And you know what? Who cares?
I'm sure there's worse out there, but
Yeah,
no shame, girl, no shame. But
totally.
all right, well,
All
I'm not
right.
going to edit this episode. I'm just going to
Okay.
put it up. I
You
don't
should.
think any of us have the time
I
for it. And
apologize if you put it up on YouTube. I definitely look a little frightening,
no,
but that's okay.
no, you don't. You look pretty.
Thanks, Whitney.
Um,
You're too kind.
you always look pretty.
I
Um,
love you.
all right. I love you so much. I
I
miss
love you
you.
too. I
I'm
love your show.
there with
I
you, my
love
little phoenix.
I love everyone and all of those who have been affected. Sending so much love and prayers to everyone.
Absolutely.
All
All
right.
right. Well,
Talk to
love
you
you.
in a
Love your
bit.
show.
Love you. Love your show. Bye bye.